DC Nation, what is up? We're back with another video, and in this video I'll be reviewing all the new DC comics that came out this past week, the week of November 30th. There's actually a lot of new comics, 12 in total, that I'll be talking about today, and a lot of them are like annuals or 100-page giants. So if you guys are wondering why this video is out like kind of later, like I planned on getting out like beginning of the week, like when the comics came out, but it took me a while to read all these comics, especially the Gotham City Villains 100-page special. Like that's 100 pages for one comic. So yeah guys, enough of this intro. I'm first gonna start out with my pick of the week. My favorite comic that came out this week was Justice League Incarnate #1, written by Joshua Williamson. In this comic, we see the continuation of the Infinite Frontier saga. We got the Justice Incarnate, now called the Justice League Incarnate, going after Darkseid because Darkseid is playing some big things. He's working with the Empty Hand, Eclipso, and the Great Darkness. Now, there has been revealed what that is, what it may mean, yet there's been made theories, I've had made theories, you guys have had made theories in the comment sections, but it hasn't been straight revealed yet, and it isn't revealed in this issue. But we do see Darkseid fight off against Thanos. Well, not actually Thanos. What happens is we go to the world of Machine Head. You guys don't remember Machine Head. He died in Infinite Frontier. He was destroyed by Darkseid. But we go to his world and we see DC's version of the Avengers. They face off against Tartarus. And Tartarus is basically Thanos. He literally has components that go to Thanos. He has this one, I wouldn't say a gauntlet, but it was like a glove or something, and it was shiny with different colors. It looked like Thanos. But Darkseid snaps his neck after a very epic battle, and the Justice Incarnates, they get involved. Also in this issue, we get some developments on Avery Ho's character. She actually gets a lot of spotlight in this issue. She's a great character, I really like her, and I'm looking forward to see more of her character in this series. She's the Flash on the Justice Incarnate now that Barry Allen is trapped somewhere ominous. If you guys don't remember, at the end of Infinite Frontier, Pariah, he confronted Barry and put Barry in this other area, this world where Barry has his mother, has the Flash family, and it's all happy, right? It's nice. But it's kinda dark, like there's a dark mystery to it that we'll find out more about as this Infinite Frontier saga continues. Now, the issue ends a very cool way. We see the arrival of all of Apocalypse, an army led by Calabac. We also see Orion show up. Yep, Orion is here. So yeah, we've had Darkseid so far, like he's been dope, but now his whole family, all these characters showing up, like that ending got me hyped. And I'm excited to see this story continue next issue. Also next issue, we'll see Etrigan. I've already seen some of the preview images for issue number 2 of the series, and it looks awesome. Like the Justice League Incarnates are going to Earth 13, I believe, and they're about to run into some crazy situations. So I'm looking forward to that. My only problem with this first issue is the artwork at times is too simple, and it could improve. I hope they improve the artwork as the series goes on. Like, the art isn't terrible, but compared to the artwork in the Infinite Frontier miniseries, it's lacking a little bit. But yeah guys, if you've been enjoying Joshua Williamson's Infinite Frontier saga, then I highly recommend this first issue of Justice League Incarnate. Next up on our list, we got Justice League Dark Annual #1, written by Ram V. In this issue, we see Mr. E. He shows up and he warns the Justice League Dark of a coming chaos. Something bad is gonna happen, and it's gonna involve Merlin and Yuga Khan. Yeah, Yuga Khan, he's mentioned in this issue. You don't know who Yuga Khan is. He's the father of Darkseid, one of the most powerful new gods, and just mentioning him and having him in this issue, a couple cool panel layouts, and I think a splash image as well is really cool. Yuga Khan is such an underrated character that I want to see explored more. But yeah, Mr. E, he really makes his presence known. I like him. He does everything backwards. Like this one scene where he drinks a cup of beer, well, a cup of whiskey backwards, and Bobo, or Detective Chimp, is like, what the heck? Did he just drink that backwards? Like, what? There's a lot of hilarious moments in this issue. Also, some tense moments. And at the end of the issue, Zatanna makes the deal with Mr. E that may have some big consequences that I'm excited to see go forward. Like, I'm really looking forward to see Ram V's new storyline in Justly Dark. Now, my only problem with this issue is it's set after the events with Merlin and Atlantis, and those events end in Justice League number 71. You guys remember Justly Dark is the backup story in the main Justice League title, but the problem is Justice League number 70 and 71 have not came out yet. We just read, I think a couple weeks ago, Justice League number 69, and the backup story, we have big cliffhanger, and Merlin was unleashing his secret companion, like we saw. I'm not going to reveal that, you can see my other video on that, but a character from Atlantis' past, and it's set up big. I'm like, okay, this story is getting hype. But now we know it just resolves and Merlin goes off, and he has the jewel. So I'm still excited to see Ram V wrap up that story in Justice League number 70 and 71, but I don't think it was a good idea to release this annual before that actually wrapped up, before those comics were out. Like, I think this comic will read a lot better once I know the previous story is finished, like once I know what actually happened. So yeah, that's my only flaw, but if you guys like the Justice League Dark, and you like the magical side of the DC Universe, I really like that side of the DC Universe, then I highly recommend this annual. Next up, we got Action Comics, number 1037, written by Philip K. Johnson, art by Miguel Mendonca, and guys, this issue is awesome. This War World storyline, this War World saga has been really good. Like, there's some really good Connect storytelling going on. Philip K. Johnson is killing it. How he's writing the story, building up tension, getting you hyped, and really thinking like, is Superman gonna die? Like, is he outnumbered? Is the United Order making a good choice by staying out of the conflict? And we see by the end of the issue, it was not a good choice. We see Superman get stabbed by Mongol. Mongol used a kryptonite spear to stab straight through Superman, and we see a very vivid image that hit me, and it was a very big moment. The Authority don't do good either. Like, Apollo gets stabbed straight through the chest. Mongol and his forces just beat up Superman and the Authority. It's a very bloody battle, and at the end of the issue, the stakes are high, and I'm very excited to see this story continue. Like, now Superman and the Authority are at their weakest moments, and they're trapped on War World, and they're gonna have to fight in gladiator matches and find some way to fight back against Mongol. So yeah, great storyline, guys. This is one of the best Superman stories in a long time. Also, I want to call out this Kingdom Come reference. In the very first page, we see Superman in front of the Authority in the sky, ready to go. And that very first page, referencing to Kingdom Come, I already knew it was going to be a good issue. I was like, man, if they're starting out like this, it's only gonna get better. So yeah, guys, you've been enjoying Action Comics, and you just like a good, well-told Superman story with a lot of action, then I highly recommend this issue. Next up, we got Batman Fear States Omega number 1. It's an oversized issue, and this just wraps up Fear States, like the last few key points. You see Miracle Molly, she deals with Simon Saint the magistrate in court. You have Batman take down Scarecrow and give him to like a psychiatrist so now he can be taken care of. You have a lot of Batman and Scarecrow back and forth interactions in this issue. They're actually quite good. I actually really like it. The artwork in this issue is really well done, fits the tone, really pushes fear and how Batman has used it to beat Scarecrow. And you see how Gotham City has evolved. It's changed. And that's what this whole issue is about. Batman welcoming change to Gotham City. Now we also have Ghostmaker taking on Clown Hunter. They're going to be teaming up. And we'll see if those characters ever return. We'll see about that. But for now, they're in good spots. Bella, or the gardener, she leaves. Poison Ivy is back with Harley. Everything is back to normal and all ready for Joshua Williamson's new Batman run, which I'm really excited for. Like, I've seen some of the preview images for his new run, and the artwork looks phenomenal. Also, now that we're out of James Tynion's run, which, in my opinion, was very small, forgettable. We had Joker and Scarecrow in this run, and I didn't really care. Like, it started out good. James Tynion's run started out good. Joker War was going on. I was hyped, but then that ended underwhelming, and from there, the run has just been subpar, and this ending is just alright. Nothing big. Whereas Joshua Williamson, I'm pretty sure he's going to do something big. He's going to give us a big story because right now he's doing an awesome job on Robin, on Deathstroke Inc., and Infinite Frontier. And I'm super excited to see what he's going to do with Batman. So yeah guys, if you've been reading James Tynion's run, might as well finish it up here with Batman if you're still Omega. But if you haven't, wait for the new run by Joshua Williamson. Next up, we got Detective Comics 2021 Annual #1, and it's written by Maruka Tsamaki, and this whole issue is focused on the Meager Man, a serial killer that Thomas helped out back in the olden days, like way back, and we see how Thomas's ethics on helping people is passed down to Bruce, who Bruce now is like, oh, I gotta help people whenever they're in need. And you see Bruce and Dick Grayson, so Batman and Nightwing, having like a back and forth on trying to help out inmates, try and make it better for them and make them more sane instead of insane. And you have this whole in-depth review of Arkham Asylum basically, and the only issue you see Meager Man, like, what is he all about? How does he act? How he's crazy? How he thinks no one wants to help him? And by the end of the issue, Bruce is helping out with this new Arkham Tower that will be explored more in the upcoming Shadows of the Bats Batman events, starting in January. That event, I'm kinda excited, but also super skeptical. This issue as a whole, this annual, super forgettable. I don't care about the Meager Man. The artwork in this issue is very generic, not good, and it's just an issue that you can skip and you're not really missing anything. Like, you're not missing anything at all. But if you have some money that you just want to spend, then sure. But I didn't really care for it. Like, I did not care for this issue at all. Next up, we got Batman the Detective #6. This is the final issue of this mini-series written by Tom Taylor, and this is the epic finale. We see Batman team up with Knight and Squire, also Henry Ducard, to take down Equilibrium. The final fights, and we get one awesome moment where Batman is just standing, and all these planes are coming from behind, and Batman is like, yeah, I'm gonna take you down. He's about to take down Equilibrium, and it just proves how Batman wants to save people, how he'll save anyone, even if they've done some bad things like the Joker. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing. Like, it just shows how Batman's ethics, they're good in a way, but it could also harm a lot of people when certain people are released or just let loose. Now, we also have a really good backstory for Squire, and I really like how the issue ends in a very emotional way. And this whole entire series, it's a really simple but captivating story. I like it. So yeah, guys, if you want a really good Batman story that's set in the future, I forgot to mention that Dick Grayson and Barbara are in this issue. So yeah, if you guys like those characters, then check out this issue for sure. But yeah, I highly recommend this. This is a good Batman story written by Tom Taylor. Next up, we got the Joker 2021 Annual #1, written by James Tynion IV and Matthew Rosenberg. In this issue, we go to the early years of Batman. We see Batman and Batgirl a little bit, but most of the issue focuses on the dynamic between Commissioner Gordon and the Joker. We see the Joker's rise in Gotham City, how he becomes the clown prince of crime, and it's very interesting. And seeing the Gordon and Joker dynamic develop, and how Joker's kind of obsessed with Gordon, I like it. Like, it's a very different take, but I'll take it for now because James Tynion is actually making it interesting. He's not overwriting it, he's not really pushing it too much, but he's putting it in the story just enough to elevate it a little bit. So yeah, good issue. The artwork, it's alright. Like, the artwork can be better at certain moments, like it can be really good, but other moments, it looks too rushed and simple. So yeah, artwork, hit or miss, story good. If you just want a really great story set in the early years of Batman, centered around Gordon and Joker's dynamic, then I recommend this issue. Next up, we got the Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giants 100-page special #1. In this issue, we got 8 different stories. The first one is written by Danny DeVito. Yep, he's the guy who played the Penguin in Batman Returns, and the actor who played Frank in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Now, I'm mentioning It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia because that's actually my favorite role for Danny DeVito. I really like that show. It's one of my favorite shows. Really funny. But going back to the story, we see Penguin and Catwoman in a relationship going on a heist, and the Bat family trying to stop them. It's a very simple story, but it's written in an interesting way, and it's very fun. I like the Penguin and Catwoman dynamic taken in a different direction. Also, the artwork by Dan Morra is phenomenal. Like, he's one of the best artists in the comic book industry right now. Like, how he draws Penguin, Catwoman, all the different sequences, it's just so good. So yeah, Danny DeVito paired up with Dan Morra, such a good creative team. And yeah, I like this story. Next up, we got Scarecrow's story, which was very intriguing. It talks about fear. Also, the art style for this story elevates it a little bit. I really like the panel layouts and how the story is paced. Next up, we got a Poison Ivy story that is well written, good, art style, well done, and yeah, if you're just a Poison Ivy fan, you'll like this. Like, it keeps in line with the character. After that, we got a Red Hood story, not focused on Jason Todd, and this story has an amazing art style. Like, the arts in this story is phenomenal. There's one image of Batman that I really liked. I stared at it for a while. But the story, we see another guy get the Red Hood helmets, and it's interesting. It's a very intriguing story that I want to be explored more. Like, how the story ends, it ends in a very open-ended way that if a writer wanted to, he could pick up the story and write an entire storyline in the main Batman title. So yeah, potential here. Next up, we got a Killer Moth story that is my favorite story in this entire comic. It's very short, fun, and I just really like it. I like Killer Moth, the character. He's very underrated, and just the fun side of him and him trying to live a normal life is super interesting to me. After that, we got a Mad Hatter story that isn't that good. It's very simple and generic and not written very well. I didn't care for it that much. But if you're reading Arkham City Order of the World, then this is like, it tells you where Mad Hatter was before that story. And I'm really liking that series. Like, Arkham City Order of the World is an awesome series. But this story with Mad Hatter, I just didn't care as much. Like, it has a good ending, but the rest of it, not that good. After that, we got a story focused on Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul. You see the dynamic between Ra's al Ghul and Batman, and they have like a chess match, and you see how Ra's al Ghul is trying to convince Batman to join his side. It's a very good story with an amazing artwork that fits the tone. After that, we got our final story for this Gotham City Villains anniversary issue, and this story is focused on Talia al Ghul, and you see her past, her upbringing, how she's trying to be independent, prove to her father, Ra's al Ghul, that she should have a seat at the table of the League of Shadows, and she proves herself. You see her stab a guy, cut his throats. It's an awesome moment, and by the end of the issue, she's ready to start some conflict. And the comic ends with a promotion for an upcoming Batman event starting next year called the Shadow War. It's going to be written by Joshua Williamson, and it's going to be events that will be, or a crossover between the main Batman title, the Robin title, and the Deathstroke Inc. title. I am super excited for that. Joshua Williamson is killing it. He really knows how to connect different series and make an awesome story. And the Shadow War, that's a really cool title. And I'm going to talk more about that soon because we get some glimpse of the story in the new Robin Annual. Speaking of that Robin Annual, that's our next comic on this list. Robin 2021 Annual #1, and in this issue we see Robin looking into all the fighters who are in the Lazarus tournament, finding out more about them, and this annual is actually set between issue number 5 and 6, the main Robin series. We find out more about Flatline this issue, how she was in a family that just rejected her. We find out about her grandfather, how he's in the KGB. We see Flatline go to Lord Deathman and really impress him, and she learns a lot about her skills and abilities. And eventually, she gets into the Lazarus tournaments. Her backstory segues perfectly into the Robin series. And her backstory, her origin, really makes me like her character. Like, I liked Flatline before, she was good, but this origin makes me like her a lot more. From there, we find out about, like, Black Swan, XXL, The Trenched. The Trenched is very interesting. Like, I'm very intrigued about his character. He's basically half Atlantean and half Trench. Like, there's a lot of potential there. Like, I hope he gets explored more. I hope it's not just this one-page origin. From there, though, we see Robin. He's talking to Alfred. He actually talks with Alfred throughout the entire issue, and he decides at the end, like, oh, should I go to my father, Batman, to help me, or just do this whole thing on my own? Should I stop Lazarus Island and stop Mother Soul all on my own? And Damian has the chance, like the one Eskrima stick that Dick, Nightwing, gave him. It has contact with Batman. So Damian can easily call in the Bat family and they could help. But Damian decides this is his fight and his journey. So I really like that. Good writing by Joshua Williamson. Now we also see Ravager. We find out how she got into the Lazarus tournament. We get an awesome moment where she walks into this place and fights off, gets a bunch of ninjas, and kills them in brutal ways. I really like that. We also get more hints on who Respawn is. I'm pretty sure it's Grant Wilson, but we'll see. His identity will probably get revealed soon. But yeah, that's basically it. This annual is all about getting to know the other characters in the Robin series, and I highly recommend it. But before I go on to another comic, I want to talk about the epilogue. In the epilogue, we see Ra's al Ghul is just sitting. Some ninjas try to get the jump on him. He takes them out in a really cool way. He kills them, and then he looks around. He's like, why are you here? And we see Talia al Ghul with an army, and she says, I need your help. So Talia al Ghul and her father, Ra's al Ghul, are going to team up in the upcoming Shadow War Batman crossover. I'm really excited for that, guys. The setup here and the setup in the Gotham City Villains anniversary gets me so hyped for that event. I just can't wait for next year. Now, next up on our list of comics, we got Teen Titans Academy number 8. In this issue, we see Red X. He shows up a little bit, he shows up, has an action sequence, and then leaves. But the main thing in this issue is Wally West. He shows up with his kids, Jai and Irie, and he's basically putting them in the Teen Titans Academy program. And I like that. Wally joining the series just adds a lot to the series, makes it more fun. And we see the main characters, the other students, they're trying to use the H-style and see what could happen with it. And by the end of the issue, we see the arrival of Roy Harper. Yep, Roy Harper, he's back. Now, his whole story, how he came back as a Black Lantern, that was an Infinite Frontier, but now he's officially back at the Teen Titans Academy Tower. The Titans Tower. And it is so cool. That final image gets me super excited for next issue. Just Roy, Wally, and the OG Titans and these new students all in one room talking. It's gonna be super interesting. Also, we get some teases to the future in this issue with Raven and Nevermore. Could Nevermore set up the future that was in future states with the 4 Riders of Apocalypse and all these characters dying, the world pretty much ending, the unkindness. There's so much setup here. Raven's visions, it sets up the conflict well. How Tim Sheridan writes this issue, there's so much going on, but he paces it well. So yeah, if you're a Teen Titans fan, this comic is finally getting interesting. It's not just, oh, Red X, and he just shows up, doesn't do anything, and that's it. Red X has been kind of lacking in the series. I hope he gets more interesting going forward, but it's no longer just him. We got Wally, we got Roy Harper, we got set up for the unkindness. There's a bunch of stories to be interested in, and I highly recommend this issue. Next up, we got Nightwing 2021 Annual number 1, written by Tom Taylor. In this issue, we just see the brother bond between Jason Todd and Dick Grayson. We get some flashbacks to when Jason Todd was just welcomed in a Wayne Manor, and he's being turned into the new Robin. Alfred calls Dick in when Batman's away, when Bruce is away, and Dick helps Jason get adjusted. He gets him the Batmobile. You see Dick in the old Nightwing costume, the classic one, him teaming up with Jason Todd in the Robin costume, and just taking out villains. It's a very fun issue. We get some good Alfred content, which I really liked, because there's a lack of Alfred in the new DC continuity because he's dead. So having him here interacting with Dick and Jason, it's a good welcome change. Now after that, we also got in the present day, Nightwing helping Red Hood take down Clayface. Clayface has a very short role, but still good, and by the end of the issue, just wraps up quickly. It just shows how good of a bond Dick Grayson and Jason Todd have. It's not shown in a lot of comics, but this one annual just showcases it so well, and I really enjoyed it. Also, the artwork is very dynamic, it fits the tone for the flashbacks and present day, so yeah, if you like Nightwing and Red Hood, then I highly recommend this issue. Moving on, we got our final new comic book for this video, and that is Human Target number 2. A part of the Black Label line, this comic is written by Tom King, art by Greg Smallwood. Greg Smallwood's artwork is phenomenal, it's very clean, it fits the tone, and I really like it. But in this issue, we see Christopher Chance interact with Ice. Yep, Ice, who is a part of that partnership, Fire and Ice. From Justice League International, you get some mentions of Guy Gardner and other characters in this issue, but the main focus is the chemistry and the relationship between Christopher Chance and Ice. And I really like it. Ice is a great character. I really like her dynamic and how she talks in this issue. And by the end of the issue, she leaves, but she leaves a mark on Christopher Chance. Like, he will remember her. So yeah, good issue. Doesn't really add that much to the series. Like, Christopher Chance, he's still gonna die eventually. He's still dreading his fate, but he's trying his best to keep positive and help different people. In this issue, that's Ice. So yeah, if you like the first issue, I recommend this one. But yeah, guys, that's all the new DC Comics for this past week, the week of November 30th. But we're not closing out this video yet. It's time for a back haul pull. The back haul pull for this week is gonna be DC, The New Frontier. Yeah, guys, DC and The New Frontier, written and drawn by Darwin Cook, colors by Dave Stewart, and this comic, it's just an origin to the Justice League, a different take on it. Literally, the final image is them fighting against Starro. Like, it's super awesome. You see Martian Manhunter in here, Green Lantern. Like, this was actually a mini-series that was put into this big trade, and each issue focused on different characters, and by the end, they came together as the Justice League. The artwork is amazing, it fits its own. It's actually one of my favorite art styles of all time. Like, I just really like it. The panel work, the sequences, how different characters talk, like their dialogue. Like, this comic is phenomenal. It's one of the best DC stories of all time. It's one and done, it's self-contained, and it's just really good. Like, you guys just want a good showcase of the most popular heroes at DC, the Justice League, then I highly recommend DC, The New Frontier. But yeah, guys, that's gonna close out this video. Tell me your thoughts on all the new DC comics that came out this past week. Also, tell me your thoughts on DC, The New Frontier. What was your favorite parts from that comic? And what do you think about Darwin Cook, his writing and his artwork? What do you think about Dave Stewart's colors? Leave all your comments down below. And yeah, guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. New channel, make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next DC Comics video. So yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap up the video. Thanks for watching, and peace out.